How would it feel to watch 12 years of your life be destroyed with a smirk across the polished mahogany table? Richard's lips curled into a smirk that I once found charming, now cruel, as he leaned back in his expensive chair ready to declare victory. The mediation room with its sterile elegance was like a stage for his performance, and I, Lucy Novak, 38 and broken, was the audience he expected to destroy. My hands trembled beneath the table, but I tried to keep my face neutral, clinging to the hope that there was still something, anything left to salvage from the life I thought we had built together. Richard's voice cut through the silence, sharp and dramatic. Lucy is getting nothing beyond what was stated in the prenuptial agreement. He announced each word, a carefully calculated blow. The house is mine. The investments are mine. The vacation home is mine. He emphasized each mine with a tap of his fingers, as if carving his claim into wood. His attorney Berkowitz, a shark in a tailored suit, nodded with practiced sympathy, while my attorney Jessica Lockhart stood still beside me, her face a mask of calm. I was startled when Richard leaned forward, his eyes sparkling. "You should read the fine print, honey," he said. "The caress now a weapon." The words stung, a reminder of the naive 26-year-old girl who had signed that prenuptial agreement, overwhelmed by his ambition and the promise of a shared future. 12 years I had spent that time supporting his career, hosting business dinners at our suburban Chicago home, renovating his properties until my hands ached, and editing his presentations late into the night. I thought we were building a life ours, not his. Now he had left me with only the clothes in my closet and a 5-year-old Honda. My architectural history degree, my freelance museum work, all for him felt like distant dreams. And what exactly did Lucy get? Jessica asked, her voice flat, cutting through my whirling thoughts. Richard laughed, spreading his arms wide. Her personal effects and the Honda, as stated in the agreement she signed 12 years ago. The room grew smaller, the air heavier as I struggled to breathe in the wake of the betrayal. Jessica's hand found my arm under the table, steadying me. "We'll need a moment," she said, gathering her papers with deliberate calm. The mediator, a gray-haired man with a neutral scowl, nodded and showed us to a small conference room at the end of the hall. When the door closed, I sank into my chair, my voice barely above a whisper. "He's right, isn't he? I signed it." Jessica didn't respond immediately, her silence deliberate as she opened her briefcase. My heart pounded between fear and a glimmer of hope. What could she possibly have that could change this? Richard's smirk was still in my mind, but Jessica's calm determination hinted at something he'd missed, something that could turn his checkmate into a false move. How do you rebuild a life when the man you loved hides the blueprint? In the dim light of the conference room, I sit, shoulders slumped, staring at the prenup I haven't seen in 12 years. Its pages a ghost from a past where I trusted Richard implicitly. I'm unraveling the naivety of my 26-year-old self, who believed his promises of ours over a document locked in his safe deposit box. The mediation room's tension lingers. Richard's smirk a fresh wound, but Jessica's steady gaze pulls me back, her leather portfolio open like a map to salvation. What secret could page 7 hold to undo the life he's claiming as his alone? I was an idiot. I say, my voice bitter as I admit the truth. Richard said the prenup was a formality, that everything we built would be ours together. I never checked the safe deposit box. Jessica's eyes soften, but her tone is precise. No, Lucy. Richard was the idiot. He never read page 7. She turns the document toward me, her manicured nail pointing to paragraph 16b. I read aloud, my voice shaky but growing stronger. In the event the marriage continues for a period exceeding 10 years, this agreement shall be considered null and void, and all assets acquired during the marriage shall be subject to equitable distribution under state law, regardless of title or origin of funds. My heart pounds as the words sink in. The prenup expired 2 years ago. Everything, the house, the investments, the main cottage his company shares, is on the table. How I whisper disbelief mingling with hope. Jessica closes the portfolio with a snap. Richard's lawyer, Berkowitz, isn't the one who drafted this. Lazarus and Reed, a prestigious Chicago firm, did 12 years ago. They included standard sunset provisions in their prenups, boilerplate language. Richard's arrogance overlooked. He fired that firm 8 years ago, likely without reviewing what he'd signed. Her smile is slow, satisfied. He doesn't know. The realization dawns like sunlight breaking through clouds. Richard, so calculated, so confident, has been blindsided by his hubris. My mind races replaying his casual cruelty over dinner 3 months ago, when he announced the divorce as if commenting on the weather, already moving assets, planning his exit with Megan, his 26-year-old assistant. Do we tell him now? I ask, a strange calm settling over me. Jessica's eyes gleam. Or do we let him think he has the upper hand? The question ignites a spark I haven't felt in months. Richard's been meticulous, hiding watches and cufflinks, documenting petty disagreements as irreconcilable differences. His arrogance is his blind spot. Not yet, I decide, my voice steady. Let's see how far he'll go, thinking I have no recourse. Jessica nods, approving of my risky strategy. He might hide assets if he feels too secure, she warns. I shake my head. He won't. He thinks the prenup protects everything. We return to the mediation room. My steps lighter. Despite the weight of 12 years, Richard scrolls through his phone, barely acknowledging us, his smirk intact. The mediator asks if we've reconsidered. Jessica responds formally. We maintain that Mr. Davenport's distribution is inequitable. Lucy has contributed significantly to the marriage and marital assets. Richard sighs, dramatic and dismissive. The prenup is clear. I catch Jessica's eye, her nod almost imperceptible. Perhaps we should take time to reflect. I say, my calm tone surprising even me. Richard frowns, expecting tears or anger, as when I discovered his affair. My composure unsettles him. Fine, he snaps. But the prenup won't change. Lucy. If only he knew. As we leave, his gaze follows me. A stranger now calculating how to discard me at minimal cost. For the first time, I feel the power of a secret he doesn't suspect hidden on page 7. Can a single morning unravel the weight of 12 years spent in someone else's shadow? Standing in the kitchen of what Richard now calls his house, I trace the marble countertop's veins, their wave-like pattern, a quiet reminder of the ocean beaches I loved as a child. I'm rediscovering pieces of myself buried beneath the role of Richard's wife. And this morning, with the prenup's secret tucked like a shield in my heart, I feel a spark of defiance. The coffee in my mug has gone cold, forgotten, as memories swirl renovations. I spearheaded clients, I charmed late nights, rebuilding Richard's confidence after a failed deal. Yet his voice, sharp and impatient, slices through. Are you still here? He stands in the doorway, AirPods in hand, running clothes clinging to his frame. His presence an intrusion in the home we built together in suburban Chicago. I live here. I snap, sharper than intended, my voice echoing in the high-ceilinged space. For now, he retorts, rolling his eyes. Berkowitz says you should find an apartment within 10 miles. I want this house on the market by summer. The casual cruelty steals my breath, reducing our lives to a transaction. I sip the cold coffee, steadying myself. Jessica thinks there may be grounds to challenge the prenup, I say, watching his reaction. He laughs, hollow and dismissive, grabbing a water bottle from the fridge I still stock. That prenup's ironclad, Berkowitz assured me, his confidence blind to page 7's power, fuels my resolve. I escape to the art museum, a sanctuary 5 miles from home, its quiet halls soothing my frayed nerves. Wandering the modernist wing, I spot Margaret, the curator, who's known me since my consulting days. Her warm embrace breaks my reserve. Are you okay? She asks, guiding me to a bench before a towering Rothko. I share the divorce, the prenup, and our strategy to let Richard dig his own grave. Her eyes gleam with mischief. He never respected your work, Lucy. The board still talks about your Westfield collection curation. Then she pulls out her tablet. The director position for special collections is open. It's yours if you want it. My breath catches. This job, a dream deferred for Richard's career, is within reach. When would I start? I ask, silencing the old reflex of seeking his approval. Next month, Margaret beams after your divorce drama settles. Possibility blooms a future unshackled from his shadow. That evening, I dine with the Whitmans, Richard's key clients, at a Lincoln Park restaurant. Its warm lights a contrast to the mediation's chill. Camille, an art historian, and Alexander, passionate about architectural preservation, welcome me like an old friend. Over dessert, Alexander says, We've missed your insight. Lucy Richards' presentations lack your touch. Camille's hand covers mine. We heard about the gala. Richard with his assistant. It was noticed. The image stings, but I hold my dignity. We're divorcing, I admit, not amicably, despite what he claims. They exchange a look, then offer me a consulting role on their Franklin Theater restoration, a historic Chicago landmark. Your expertise is perfect, Camille insists. I accept, my heart racing with purpose. Back home, I document Richard's earlier words on my phone, his apartment directive, his dismissal of my contributions, his affair with Megan. My phone buzzes. A text from Richard Berkowitz has a settlement offer tomorrow. Be reasonable. I smile, ignoring it. The museum job, the theater project, the Whitman's trust. These are my foundation now built on page 7's promise. For the first time, I'm not just surviving, I'm shaping a future that Richard's control can't reach. What does it mean to face the man who redefined your worth, knowing you hold the key to his undoing? In Berkowitz's downtown Chicago office, all gleaming glass and sharp edges, I perch on a deliberately uncomfortable chair, the prenup's secret. A quiet pulse in my chest. I'm no longer the compliant wife who smoothed Richard's world, but a woman wielding evidence and resolve. Across the conference table, Richard examines his nails, feigning boredom, while Berkowitz slides a document toward Jessica and me. The settlement offer my Honda personal items, $50,000, and a demand to leave the house in 30 days feels like a slap, a fraction of the wealth I helped build. This is equitable, Jessica asks, her tone laced with irony. Berkowitz leans forward, hands clasped. Given the prenup, it's extraordinarily generous. Richard's eyes flick to mine, annoyance flashing. You're being unreasonable, Lucy. The prenup's clear. I tilt my head, a calculated move. Did you ever read it, Richard? All of it. His jaw tightens, irritation surfacing. Of course I did. What difference does it make? Jessica interjects, cool and precise. Prenups aren't always enforceable. Berkowitz's smile is thin. This one's airtight. I've reviewed it thoroughly. I wonder if he has, or if he's as careless as Richard blind to page 7's trap. We'll need 3 days to respond, Jessica says. Gathering her papers, Richard counters. One day I have a buyer for the house. His urgency betrays a crack in his armor, and I savor it. At home, the air shifts when I spot a sleek convertible parked out front, its top down, despite the cool spring breeze. Laughter spills from the kitchen. Richard's low chuckle and a woman's voice. My stomach clenches as I step inside, my footsteps deliberate on the hardwood I chose. There at the island, Richard holds a glass of my favorite Pinot Megan perched beside him, her blonde hair loose, her dress a costly imitation of sophistication. Lucy Richard says, surprise laced with irritation. I didn't think you'd be home. Clearly, I reply, my voice steady. Hello, Megan. We met at the Christmas party coat check, right? Her blush confirms my jab. Richard's jaw tightens. We're leaving. Megan needed files from my office. I glance at the cheese platter on my serving board. Quite the working lunch. This is my house. Richard snaps his composure, fraying. I don't need permission. I smile thinly. Your lawyer might disagree about entertaining your girlfriend here before the divorce is final. Judges frown on that. Megan stands flustered. Richard, we should go. He hesitates, then grabs folders, his hand on her back as they leave. Don't wait up. He mutters a childish jab. I won't. I call after him. I'm dining with the Whitmans tonight. His pause is telling, he knows their influence alone. I text Jessica. He brought Megan here, time to make him sweat. Her reply is swift. Perfect. We've got leverage now. As I prepare for dinner, a calm settles over me. Richard thinks he's untouchable. But page 7 and my new allies, the Whitmans. Margaret are rewriting the story he thought he controlled. When does the act of gathering evidence become a reclamation of your truth? In Jessica's Chicago office, surrounded by stacks of documents, I sift through 12 years of my life, each paper a testament to contributions Richard dismissed as trivial. The memory of Megan's laughter in my kitchen, Richard's casual claim over our home, fuels my resolve. Today we strike back not with the sunset clause, not yet, but with a demand that forces Richard to confront the value he's long ignored. I slide a bank statement across Jessica's desk, showing my $100,000 inheritance from my grandmother, used as the down payment for our main cottage. He calls it his property, I say, but my name's on the purchase agreement. Jessica's eyes gleam as she adds it to our dossier alongside emails where I secured client meetings and appraisals of artwork I curated for our home. "This is gold, Lucy," she says. "It proves you were an equal partner." The validation washes over me, rewriting years of Richard's gaslighting. Our plan, a counteroffer that challenges the prenup's fairness without revealing its expiration, baiting Richard to double down on his flawed defense. At Berkowitz's conference room 5 miles from Jessica's office, the air crackles with tension. Richard slouches, scrolling his phone, his nonchalance a thin veneer. Jessica presents our counteroffer: half the $2 million house, 30% of the main cottage, a share of his investment portfolio, and spousal support. Berkowitz's eyebrows climb. "This is absurd," he snaps. "The prenup precludes all of this." Jessica counters, her voice like steel. "My client signed under duress without counsel a week before the wedding. Its enforceability is questionable." Richard's head snaps up. "I told you it was standard. Lucy, you didn't need a lawyer." His defensiveness betrays a flicker of doubt. I lean forward, my tone calm but pointed. "You said it protected us, Richard, not just you." He falters, glancing at Berkowitz, who insists. The prenup's airtight. Jessica's smile is razor-sharp. "Perhaps you should review it again carefully." The suggestion lands like a pebble in still water, rippling unease across Richard's face. He rejects our offer as expected, but his voice lacks its usual bravado. "This is a waste of time," he mutters. Jessica gathers our files. "We'll respond to your rejection within a week." "Consider your position outside," she murmurs. He's rattled. Now we start financial discovery, every account, every transaction. The strategy: uncover hidden assets while Richard clings to the prenup's illusion. Back home, I find Richard in his study papers, strewn across his desk. 2 job offers now, he sneers, referencing my museum and theater roles. Convenient timing. His attempt to belittle me falls flat. "I could have had them years ago," I say, "if I hadn't prioritized your career." His eyes narrowed, calculating the threat of my independence. "Be reasonable, Lucy," he warns. "Berkowitz won't wait forever." I smile, turning away. Neither will I. As I climb the stairs, Jessica's text confirms our next meeting. The prenup secret waits a trump card will play when Richard's overconfidence peaks. For now, I'm rewriting my story, one documented truth at a time, and Richard has no idea how much it's already changed. In Judge Winter's courtroom, a compact space humming with anticipation, I stand at the precipice of a new beginning, the prenup's sunset clause, a silent weapon ready to reshape my future. The memory of his rejection, our counteroffer, dismissed with a 15-page letter proclaiming the prenup's supremacy, fuels my steady gaze. Today, in this Chicago courthouse, page 7 will rewrite the narrative he thought he controlled. Jessica requested this emergency hearing, and as we enter, Richard and Berkowitz sit at their table, his casual confidence fraying at the edges. His eyes meet mine, probing for weakness, but I offer only calm resolve. Judge Winters, silver-haired and sharp-eyed, calls the session to order, her no-nonsense demeanor, a quiet promise of justice. "Ms. Lockhart, you requested this hearing," she says, reviewing her file. "Proceed." Jessica rises, her voice clear and commanding. "Your Honor, we've uncovered a provision in the prenup that renders further negotiation moot. I direct the court's attention to page 7, paragraph 16b. My pulse races as she hands copies to the judge and Berkowitz, the highlighted clause gleaming like a beacon. Berkowitz frowns, flipping to the page, while Judge Winters adjusts her glasses, reading silently. Her eyebrows lift, the only sign of surprise. "Mr. Berkowitz, are you familiar with this provision?" she asks. He scans the text, his face paling as he reads again. "I need a moment, Your Honor." He stammers, leaning toward Richard, who grabs the document. His expression shifts: confusion, disbelief, then raw fury as he reads the prenup null after 10 years, expired 2 years ago, overlooked. Judge Winters says flatly, her tone cutting. A provision invalidating the entire agreement was overlooked. Berkowitz flounders. "It's unusual, Your Honor, not standard in modern prenups." Richard straightens his voice tight. This wasn't in the draft I reviewed. I never agreed to this. The judge's gaze sharpens. Are you alleging alteration, Mr. Davenport? That's serious. Berkowitz intervenes his hand on Richard's arm. No, Your Honor. My client is surprised by a provision he doesn't recall. Judge Winters scans the document. The clause is consistent in font and formatting with both parties' initials on page 7. There's no evidence of tampering. My heart soars as she continues. The prenup is null and void, having exceeded its 10-year term. Equitable distribution under Illinois law will govern all marital assets. With a gavel's tap, 12 years of Richard's control dissolve the house investments, cottage shares all open to division. Richard remains seated, his face rigid with suppressed rage. As Berkowitz gathers their papers, he leans toward me, voice low. You knew, didn't you? All this time I meet his gaze unflinching. I found out when you said I'd get nothing but a Honda. You assumed I'd stay powerless. For a moment, something flickers in his eyes. Recognition, perhaps, of his miscalculation before hardening. This isn't over. Lucy. Jessica steps forward, her tone crisp. Legally it is. The court will ensure a fair division reflecting Lucy's contributions. Richard storms out. Berkowitz trailing his parting shot, lost in the courtroom's echo. Outside, spring sunshine warms my face, a stark contrast to the meditation's chill. My phone buzzes with Margaret's text. How'd it go? I reply. Fingers steady. Prenup's invalid. Everything's changed. Her response is instant. Dinner tonight. 7 p.m. The department wants to toast our new director. The invitation sparks joy, a reminder of the community I've rebuilt. In the parking lot, Richard watches from his car, his stare heavy with frustration. For 12 years I shaped my expressions to please him, hiding pain to ease his burden. Now I hold his gaze, letting him see my strength, a woman no longer defined by his verdict. He drives away and I linger, savoring the shift. The war isn't over. Richard will fight his ego demanding it, but the battlefield has leveled. The museum, the theater project, my new apartment waiting in Lincoln Park. They're not just victories, but a life I'm claiming for myself. Page 7 gave me leverage, but I've reclaimed something greater. My worth written in every choice I now make freely. As I walk to my car, the future unfolds, not as Richard's ex-wife, but as Lucy Novak, architect of my own story.